a plane load, scores of screen stars take off from Burbank Airport to entertain GIs stationed in U.S. outposts around the world. This troop's Korea-bound. Another unit is headed for Newfoundland and Greenland. There'll be shows, too, for troops in Alaska and in the Caribbean by stars who'll tour for 2 weeks. East, west, north, and south, giant transports wing Hollywood's greetings to our servicemen overseas. At Washington National Airport, there is a warm personal welcome from President Truman awaiting Secretary of State ACHESON, returning from his last big international conference, the North Atlantic Council meeting in Paris. After almost 4 years in office, ACHESON prepares to step down. Leaving the U.S. courthouse in Washington after his arraignment on perjury charges is Far Eastern expert Owen Lattimore without hat. The government has accused the Johns Hopkins professor of lying to Senate investigators in denying pro-communist sympathies and activities. Lattimore pleaded not guilty, and trial was set for early next March. In San Diego, California, the Navy unveils the Sea Dart, the first delta-winged seaplane ever built. The jet-propelled fighter-type plane gets set for some trial taxi runs on water. The triangular tail assemblage and needle nose give it the appearance of a monster sailfish. This new air weapon can land and take off almost anywhere without the need of land bases. The defense of our fleets at sea will be expanded when the Sea Dart, now still waterbound, flies into action. At the Royal Naval Station in Gosport, England, the first British operational helicopter squadron climbs through some final training flights before being sent to the jungles of Malaya to combat the rebellious bandits. The Sikorsky copters were sent by the United States under the Mutual Defense Assistance Program. Helicopters, which just a few years ago were in the experimental stage, have already proved their worth in actual combat in Korea. The extremely maneuverable planes, excellent frontline troop and supply transports, will carry the fight to the enemy in Malaya.
The burning wreckage of an Air Force Globemaster, world's largest troop transport plane, lies scattered for 2.5 miles at Moses Lake, Washington. 86 servicemen are dead, 30 more are injured. 4 Air Force generals inspect the scene to determine the cause of the crash. The giant plane was giving a lift to servicemen, many recently returned from Korea, to their homes for Christmas when it plummeted to earth on takeoff in the worst disaster in aviation history. On PONGAM Island off southern Korea, 4,000 fanatical communist civilian internees in 6 compounds march on American and South Korean guards. 82 prisoners are killed, 118 injured. 4 guards are hurt. Correspondents hear the camp commander, Lieutenant Colonel Miller, explain that he ordered his men to fire point blank to save their own lives. The guards were menaced by taunting, jeering prisoners who, with arms locked, ignored warning volleys and bore down on them. Here, the subdued and sullen Reds, many of them injured, are returned to their compounds after the bloodiest Korean prisoner crash of the war. Later, in the United Nations, after an all-night session, the General Assembly votes down a Russian demand that the United States be condemned for the riotings on uneasy PONGAM. The circus is in London town, and a smiling Queen Elizabeth pays it a visit. She's welcomed with a bouquet from a solemn clown. It's quite an honor for the performers, since this is the first time any reigning monarch of England has ever visited the big top. Elizabeth and her husband take their seats. Out comes the man in the moon to show them that you can earn your living up in the air. The British Variety Club is staging this benefit performance tonight. Bringing the show bouncing back to earth is Emilio Zapata on the tightrope. And here come the 5 Talos. Oops, sorry, old chap. It's a wonderful show. Now, Carl Mossmere with his Oxford-educated mule, Herbert. Herbert's an unruly beast, so a man just up from Cornwall breaks loose to demonstrate how it's done down on the farm. Queen and commoner, young and old, can't resist the greatest of all shows, the circus.
In fog-shrouded Detroit, the Lions and Los Angeles Rams battle it out for the title in the National Conference playoff. Lions are moving downfield on a TD march, and now old man Pat Harder races for the goal line, and it's a tally for the favored Lions. 47,000 can barely see the field as the Rams' Skeet Quinlan operates on a reverse that keeps both Lions and fans guessing. Skeet maneuvers through the mist for 16 yards to gain a first down on the 6. Ben Brocklin, who must be wishing he had some Los Angeles sunshine with him, locates Fears, and the Rams at last have a TD. Rams ball again. It's ceiling 0 for pass receivers, and Torgerson pulls an interception for the Lions, who've been outsmarting the fog-bound Rams all afternoon. Texas Bobby Lane hands off to Doak Walker, and Doak cuts through fog and Rams on a sprint that sets up the final TD. Lions beat Rams 31-21, with Lane making the final score to take Pro Football's National Conference title.